Remember that book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus by John Gray? It is worth buying that book. It's a number of decades old, but it's worth buying that book by John Gray and reading it just to begin to understand so much more about the difference between men and women. There's another book I would encourage you to consider buying, and that book is entitled, very provocative title, Men Don't Listen and Women Cannot Read Maps. It's by Alan and Barbara Pease. Again, that's worth buying that book. What I really want you to understand is masculinity, femininity, there's a difference in how we communicate. And it's worth understanding some of those differences. There is a big difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is quite easy. It's just words coming out of somebody's mouth, goes in through the ears. And many people can multitask. Yes, I'm listening whilst they're doing something at the sink, in the kitchen. The other has come in and they're multitasking. You're not listening to me. Yes, I am. I can even tell you what you just said. Actually, that might not be listening. That might be just hearing words coming out of your mouth. And the test of true hearing and listening is getting the other person to repeat it an hour later. What I said to you. Now, there are some clever clogs that really can repeat it. Now, listening is so much harder work. Not only do you hear the words coming out of the person's mouth and it goes in through your ears, but it actually is filtered in the brain. The brain does something with it to process. That's effective listening. And that is hard work. And we're going to do an exercise where you role play or try out a real conversation using the new tools that I'm going to give you to see the difference, experience the difference between hearing and effective listening. There is a big difference between the two. Here are 5 types of poor listeners. The first one is the advisor. Instead of seeking to understand and empathize, we want to sort out the problem by proposing a fix-it solution. I often think about us men like that. We're what I call the Bob the Builders, the Mr. Fix-It. When our partners, particularly our female partners, have an issue that they want to talk about, so often before they've even finished telling us all of the issue, us men have been working away in our brains with a fix-it solution that we're ready to launch in and give to them. Sometimes it's not a solution that our female partners want. It's just to be listened to with a more empathic. We can talk about empathy at a later date and how different that is to sympathy. But her having a sense that we've given whole body attention and listening. And when somebody feels really listened to, they feel valued. But the converse, of course, is when somebody feels not listened to, repeatedly, they feel very devalued. And that might be the source of a lot of angst, because over a lot of years, they have felt repeatedly devalued. Now, it took me years to recognize that my wife did not always want a fix-it solution from me, but she just wanted to talk. and felt appreciated and valued, and even thanked me for my part, which I thought I didn't say anything, but that proved to be really valuable to her. Now, us men are wired so differently. So differently. Women don't beat us up straight away. There's just something in us where we just want to fix it for you. Because actually, it affects us emotionally when we can't fix it for you. Forgive us for being a bit like that. It's just a part of our DNA. But men, there are times, more frequent than not, that we have to learn to just listen and not then put forward a fix-it solution. When she wants a fix-it solution, she'll tell you, she'll guide you, she'll coach you, she'll tell you, she'll give you some clues that she would like your view. And there is your prompt to go in, but otherwise, hold it back. That's tough, that's hard, because we're so used to spurting it out as soon as she's given us a gap in her speaking. Well, that's obvious. Here's the solution. Hold it back and wait for her. Maybe the same for you women with the men. Don't want to be stereotypical in this. The second one, remember these are 5 types of poor listeners. The second one is the interrupter. And the interrupter, whilst the person is speaking, they are already working out a reply. Whilst the brain is working out the reply, they cannot be truly listening, can they? Multitasking. And my wife has told me us men can't multitask. Can you? Sometimes the interrupter will interrupt somewhat prematurely. Again, like the advisor, coming in too early with a solution, with a fix-it. Poor listener, the premature interrupter. The third one is the reassurer, probably best called the false reassurer. It's the person who maybe interrupts prematurely, but certainly gives advice that belittles the gravity of the subject matter that was being shared. They may use things like, "Oh, it's not that bad. You'll be okay," and that may grossly underestimate the level of the problem, the size of the problem, the gravity of the issue which the person is facing. Sometimes because they don't know what to say. False reassurance. That's a poor type of listener. The fourth one is the rationalizer. The rationalizer is the one that focuses on explaining away why you feel that way, and often that you shouldn't feel that way. You can't talk somebody out of their feelings. How they feel is how they feel. You can spend the next 24 hours talking and trying to convince them, which is a total waste of time. If they feel in a particular way, the most important thing that you can do is endorse how they feel and not try to rationalize how they feel. That might belittle the gravity of how they feel. The fifth one is the deflector. And the deflector perhaps feels uncomfortable with the subject matter, don't know what to say, or it's difficult. They don't really do empathy. The deflector may move the conversation away from the subject matter, or they may find a similar experience that they have been through, thinking that will make the other person feel better because they can find a connection. But the deflector has taken over the conversation, and 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour later, you sit back and realize you've been talking more about them and their circumstance more than you've been talking about the issue you brought. They've hoodwinked the conversation. They've taken the conversation, and it is more about them than it is you. They deflected it. a poor type of listener,
send me a message. It's time to get your relationship back onto a better footing for your future. Let's do some work without shame and bring colour back to life. Send the email, send the message to me, Gary McFarlane, at the Kairos Centre, and let's begin to reclaim your quality of life.